Welcome back on the AM show. Time now for us to get into our big stories. The first of them, well, members of the Pensioner Bondholders Forum say they will resume picketing at the Ministry of Finance today to further demand payment of all their outstanding coupons and principals. We'll hear from them this morning as we interact with convener of the group, Dr. Edu Anani Entry. Dr. Entry, a very good morning to you, sir. Hello, Doc. If you can hear me, please unmute. Good morning.
Yeah, I've unmuted already.
It's good to have you. Now, this has been coming for some time now. You had interactions with the Ministry of Finance when initially your coupon payments did not materialize. Then there were agreements between you and government in terms of a certain window of operation. That was up to the end of April. The month of May has started. What exactly is the posturing of your group as of now?
Well, the short story, so we have.
Doc, I lost a bit of what you were saying there. So if you could just start over for me, I'd be grateful.
Okay, I'm saying the long and short is that we've tried all that we have to do to ensure that we get our payments, but that has not been coming. We've written letters, we have sent all that we have to do to the Ministry of Finance. It's not coming. And so we gave the ministry up to 28 that was still not paid.
Right.
And then we informed the police that we're starting our picketing today, and we have gotten, we are ready now to start the picketing from today.
And that's substantially
for the payment of the outstandings.
That effectively was what I was referencing. I think the 21st, then the 28th, those agreements you arrived at. I think we even had a conversation and you mentioned that you had not necessarily extended to that date, but there had been a confab per the release by the Ministry of Finance. You agreed, you consented to the 28th. But have you received any communication at all in terms of why the payments have not been made?
No, not at all.
Have you heard at all from the Finance Ministry? Because I know at a point you were interacting with the deputy as well, Abena.
That was on the 17th of April when we reaffirmed our 28th deadline.
And you're confirming here that since that time, there's been no further interaction, at least from the end of the Finance Ministry to your group.
Since the 17th of April, we haven't had any interaction whatsoever.
I have a question for you. Now, on the back of picketing the first time, the only thing maybe you secured was the decision by government to exempt you. But that exemption, so to speak, has not yielded any results because what you were hoping to get, your coupon payments, principals, and all of that, have not materialized. You have not secured that. Would you say that using that same route, going back to picket, just hold on, would you say that going back to picket at the Ministry of Finance would yield anything better, do you think?
Yes. We will be there until, just as we were there, submit.
I've been losing you again. Please make that point. You say you'll be there again.
Just as we were there until the exemption was granted us. Once we started, we will be there until the payments are made.
I see. No matter how long it takes?
No matter how long.
So if this extends into a year, are you telling me that your members are willing to keep picketing?
Yes.
That is an interesting dynamic. What if government simply didn't have the resources? Because there are those in the public space who have questioned. Government, through the finance minister, said they had the resources to cater to the coupon payments. But now some are questioning that. We don't have the IMF deal yet. And while some say that we could get it this month, there is no black and white when it comes to that. If it turns out that the finances or the funds are simply not available, what would that mean to your group?
I didn't get the end.
So I'm saying that if it turns out that the funds are simply not available to make payments to your group, what then happens? Are you going to still continue picketing?
I think I have advised, I've said that government can borrow from the treasury bill market and pay us.
You want government to borrow from the treasury bill market to pay you?
Bill market and pay us, yes, because government is borrowing from the same treasury bill market to pay people who are holding the treasury bills when it matures.
The country is in dire economic straits. We're going to the IMF. You want further borrowing, especially when government has been asked to tone down, tame itself when it comes to borrowing?
This is life and death. And you recall that the president once said, if you can't bring the debt from back, but you can bring the economy back. If you don't pay these pensioners, they will die because they cannot get their medication. You can't bring them back. So just as the government, the president said, take the treasury bill and pay these pensioners so that they will not die. Let the economy, our debts rise a little. We can bring it back. We can bring the life of the dead back.
I am very sensitive to the elderly and pensioners and what you're going through. But let's face it, this would be like robbing Peter to pay Paul, because in the end, taking from the treasury bill market could also have consequences which could also affect other people. Now, I go back to where we find ourselves economically. Would that be prudent?
It will be. I'm saying it is life and death. Just as when we sell our properties to take care of the sick in the society. If it hadn't happened to you before, you don't know. People have sold their property to take care of their wives, their health, their husbands, life and death. So when it comes to the point that you need money to save a soul.
If you need money to save a soul.
Pensioners need their money for them to live. So if you borrow and it will slightly increase your debt, it is better to do that and save the lives of these pensioners.
Paint a picture for me, Doc. I know you've already started on the trajectory of telling us some people have to borrow money to purchase medication. I remember we spoke to a 70-plus-year-old who himself was in, very tricky waters as far as this is concerned. But what are some of the stories, the current stories you're hearing from members of your group in terms of why securing these coupons is crucial for them at this point in time? What are some of the stories you can share with us before we
we've heard that some people are even now rationing their drugs. If you are supposed to take the drugs every day, and because you don't have the money, you are taking it every 3 days, I believe your sickness, your disease would go up the level, you will deteriorate, and that will lead you to your grave. If you are not getting the money to go and be on your dialysis, you are supposed to go three times a week, and people have started going once a week. Then they are itching closer to their grave. That is what is happening.
Now, if the finance ministry were to seek some sort of engagement with you today and come to some conclusivity on a clear timeline for payment, would you still pick it? If you were contacted this very morning concerning that situation, would you still go ahead to pick it?
We will cross the river when we get there.
So in other words, if there is some communication, if there is some word from the finance ministry, you are willing to jaw with them?
That's what I'm saying. We will cross the bridge when we get there.
Right. Your numbers. We had some prominent citizens, former vice chancellors, lecturers, former academics. We even had the former chief justice, a former chief justice, join your group. What are your expectations today as you go back to picketing in terms of numbers, membership? What are you expecting?
Well, we have agreed that we are picketing, and the members who are available will be there.
So no matter the number, you are going to sustain this. What are your projections? For as long as this takes, you say you're willing to go, but what are your projections? Is this going to be an every other day thing, an everyday thing, a once a week thing?
Every day, between 10 and 11.
Every day between 10 and 11.
Yes.
Interesting question. Looking at the age dynamics, the health dynamics of all of you who are going to be there, is that practical? Or are you going to run a rotational system where maybe some come today and others come tomorrow? How are you going to do that?
These are elderly people, so sometimes you don't expect them to be there always.
Exactly why I'm asking this.
The individual. Sometimes you come today, you are unable to come because of some medication. You rest, and you come the next day. So we have a way that we will still have people to be there every day.
Finally, Dr. Anani Antwi, you have the platform now. You could address Mr. President. You called on him the last time to speak to the finance minister. You could also address the finance minister. What would be your charge to them this morning on the back of the non-payment of your coupons?
Well, it's simply just find money to pay these pensioners. They need the money to buy their medication so that they can live.
Thank you, Dr. Edu Anani Antwi, and we wish you all the best. Hopefully you get what you want. He is convener of the Pensioner Bondholders group, and of course they are saying on the back of the non-payment of their coupons and the principals as well, they are going to start picketing again at the Finance Ministry starting today. And you heard him. He says no matter how long it takes, they're going to continue. Even if it's a year, they're going to be there. They're going to run a sort of rotational system because of age, health issues, but someone will be there to picket every day. And that is quite an interesting picture.